Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to Dreamworks Switch to Life. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing every single project Dreamworks is making in the future that we know about. I do one of these every month, so without further ado, let's start this video. The first movie that Dreamworks is going to be coming out with is The Wild Robot, which will actually be their last movie that is made fully in-house. It currently has a release date of September 20th, 2024. I've left a link down below to a trailer breakdown that I made where I discuss what I think will happen in this movie. But all in all, I'm really excited to watch this one. The next 2025 movie is going to be an outsourced movie, which means DreamWorks will not be handling the animation themselves, but that movie is going to be Dogman. This is a spin-off of the Captain Underpants franchise in the sense that it's a comic book created by George Beard and Harold Hutchins, and now Dogman is about to get his own movie. So the plot will revolve around a cop and a dog who get injured in an accident to the point where the only way to save them is to have the dog's head sewn onto the cop's body. And yeah, that's gonna be a little weird. I can't wait to watch that kind of antics unfold. The movie will release on January 31st, 2025, and again, will be an outsourced movie, so most likely, I think it will be animated by Micros Animation, but I could be wrong. The next film that I want to talk about is also not being made by DreamWorks Animation, but it is based on one of their properties. That, of course, being the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake, which is currently set to finish filming at the end of the month of May, and after that, we'll go into post-production and CGI work. The movie is currently slated for a June 13th, 2025 release, and despite being a live-action remake, I'm actually having high hopes for this movie, considering that they're bringing in 3 people who worked on the original trilogy. We have Dean DeBlois, writer and director. We have John Powell, who is the composer for the soundtrack, and finally Gerard Butler will be reprising his role as Stoic the Vast. Along with that, I really like the cast that they chose. The next film that I want to talk about is DreamWorks' first mainline movie that will be made with Sony Pictures Imageworks helping out. That, of course, being The Bad Guys 2. Now, I actually left a link down below to a prediction video where I discuss what I think could happen in The Bad Guys 2, but essentially the plot is that the bad guys are having trouble proving that they're good guys now, and it doesn't help when an all-female criminal gang tries to seek their help to pull off one last heist. The movie is going to be released on August 1st, 2025. However, it will not be DreamWorks' last 2025 film, and honestly, I kind of wish we didn't know what this next film is going to be, because apparently Gabby's Dollhouse is getting a movie. Yes, you heard that right. The Netflix preschool series that is, for some reason, extremely popular, DreamWorks has decided that they want to turn Gabby's Dollhouse into their very first live-action animation hybrid movie. This movie is going to be an outsourced film and will most likely be made by the same production companies who create the TV show, but they'll most likely be given a higher budget. So the plot is going to be as follows. Gabby is going to go on a road trip with her grandma Gigi to the urban wonderland of Cat San Francisco. But when Gabby's dollhouse, her most prized possession, ends up in the hands of an eccentric cat lady named Vera, Gabby sets off on an adventure through the real world to get the Gabby cats back together and save the dollhouse before it's too late. The film will have a release date of September 26, 2025, and will be the last movie that we actually talk about in today's video, so it's time to move to the TV show side of things. Which actually includes future seasons of Gabby's Dollhouse. At the time of recording, we don't actually have a release date for season 10, but we do know that it will be released at some point in 2024. We also know that season 10 will most likely not be the final season, as the show has been ordered to get upwards of 100 episodes, meaning that this is going to become a DreamWorks' longest TV show ever. Thankfully, also coming to Netflix, we have Jurassic World Chaos Theory, which is a sequel series to Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. However, the tone of this one will actually be a bit darker, and it seems like that this TV show will not be suitable for kids. As of right now, we know that the first season will be released on May 24th, 2024, with a total of 10 episodes. And we do know that there are future seasons planned, we just don't know how many seasons. Aside from that, we don't really know a lot about the TV shows that Netflix currently has going, but I do believe that we actually can hope for a 5th season of Go Dog Go, which will most likely have a total of 12 episodes and be the final season of the TV show. Now, that's actually just speculation on my part, but based on the pattern that Dreamworks has had in the past, I do believe that that's going to be the case. If I had to guess, I would say that the 5th season will most likely be released sometime in the fall of 2024. Now, these next 2 shows, I don't actually know what their renewal status is, but I do believe that both Dewdrop Diaries and Not Quite Narwhal have reached the end of their production phase, which means they've released a full 26 episodes, and now it's just up to viewership numbers as to whether or not Netflix renews the series for another production batch. If I had to guess, I would say that Dewdrop Diaries Season 3 would most likely be released sometime in the late summer of 2024, while Not Quite Narwhal Season 3 will be released at some point in the fall of 2024. Now, the final preschool TV show that I want to talk about is Mighty MonsterWheelies, which is basically about monster trucks. And I don't mean monster trucks with big wheels. I mean literal cars and vehicles and whatever you want to call them that are literally monster trucks, like based off of Universal monsters. You know, like Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy, the Werewolf, the Invisible Man, and a bunch of other vehicles. I do believe that since this dives into the concept of monsters, the first season will most likely be released in the October of 2024. But we do know that this series is going to come out in 2024. So keep that in mind. Now, this TV show is actually mostly speculation, but I do believe that we're going to get a TV show based on The Bad Guys. And the main reason I believe that is because The Bad Guys in A Very Bad Holiday was actually advertised as a Netflix original series. Why would they call it a Netflix original series if it was just going to be a one-time thing? And to that I say, it's not going to be a one-time thing. However, with the announcement of The Bad Guys 2, that means that it probably won't be a very long TV show, maybe just 1 or 2 seasons, and if that's the case, they better release the first season soon. Of course, there is the potential that the TV show was never going to happen, or that it was canceled behind the scenes, and thus we never even knew it officially existed. But still, I still find it a little weird that they would advertise it as a series if they weren't going to make it a show. And now it's time to discuss the projects that are going to be leaving Netflix. And the good news is, yet again, we still don't have a removal date for any DreamWorks TV shows. But again, as always, I expect that the next TV shows to be removed are going to be Dawn of the Croods, Dragons Race to the Edge, and Dino Trucks. Of course, those aren't the only shows that are destined to be removed, but I do believe that they will be the next ones to be removed. And the final thing I want to talk about is Trolls Band Together, which is currently streaming on Peacock right now, and I highly recommend that you go and see it. But if you don't feel like watching it on Peacock, you can wait for it to leave the streaming service, at which point it will come to Netflix on July 15th, 2024. But speaking of things that you can watch on Peacock, it's time to dive into our next streaming service. Now, the first show that I want to talk about is Megamind Rules Season 2. And, well, first off, I kind of want to vent. Why would they make a Gabby's Dollhouse movie head to theaters and not Megamind 2? That's just so stupid. But I digress. Let's move on. So, Megamind Rules kind of left off on a cliffhanger in its first season, and it's kind of a known fact that when animated TV shows are made, they order the shows in batches, meaning 2 to 3 seasons at a time, which means that we are definitely 100% getting a Megamind Rules Season 2 eventually. As to whether or not there will be a Season 3, that's kind of up for debate. And while I can't necessarily recommend Megamind Rules, one show that I definitely will recommend is Fright Crew. And it's a really great horror-based TV show that I really enjoyed watching. Unfortunately, the show managed to release its second season back in March, which means that now it's just up to viewership as to whether or not the show gets renewed for a third season. And if that's the case, the creators definitely have a plan for where they want to take the series, as the second season did leave off on a minor cliffhanger. But with that in mind, I don't recommend this series just so it can get renewed. I recommend it because it's actually good, unlike Megamind Rules. Speaking of horror-based TV shows, the only TV show that we know is going to be coming to Peacock eventually is Casper the Friendly Ghost. It will be a live-action animation hybrid horror-based focus series. And while we don't actually know when it's going to come out, my prediction is, once again, October of 2024. And if not then it will most likely be delayed until 2025. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about is Kung Fu Panda 4, which will be coming to Peacock most likely on July 5th, 2024. Now, that release date is actually just speculation, but it's based off of what other DreamWorks movies have done in the past when they've come to Peacock. Now, one thing that I really want you to keep in mind is that along with the home release of the movie, there is going to be a short film called Dueling Dumplings, which will see Po and Zhen, played by Jack Black and Awkwafina, fight it out over who has the best dumplings. You can currently watch the short film if you buy or rent Kung Fu Panda 4 on digital, but I'm going to wait for the Blu-ray release. One thing to keep in mind, Dueling Dumplings will not be made available on any streaming service. So if you really want, you can go and purchase the movie in any format, but aside from that, if you just want to watch Kung Fu Panda 4, you can wait for it to come to Peacock and eventually Netflix. With that in mind, it's time to dive into our final streaming service. As of right now, the only TV show that we know is coming to Apple TV Plus is Brick, which is a music-focused animated series based off of world-renowned collectible figurines. Does that sound like another DreamWorks franchise to you guys, or is that just me? Anyway, we don't actually know when the series will be released, but we do know that its first season is going to have 13 episodes. There is potential that there are future seasons, but they haven't exactly been confirmed, so with that in mind, let's just hope for the best. Aside from that, the only other TV show that is still going on Apple TV Plus is Curses. Now, I gotta say that I haven't actually seen Curses, but from what I've heard, it's a really great TV show. And to be honest, I would not be surprised if they made a second season. However, due to the fact that it's on Apple TV Plus, I don't expect it to get a lot of views, unfortunately. So maybe and maybe not. Who knows? And with that, we are done with DreamWorks movies and TV shows. But we're not done because DreamWorks is also making a theme park, that of course being DreamWorks Land. Now, we've known about this for a while, and I'm actually going to hold off on going to see it, but it will actually open on June 14th, 2024. And as of right now, there are 3 major sections that are being advertised for DreamWorks Land. They are Shrek's Swamp, and the Troller Coaster, and finally the Kung Fu Panda Training Camp. Really, the only thing that would make it better, at least in my eyes, is if there was a How to Train Your Dragon section. But good news, they're actually giving us an entire How to Train Your Dragon theme park called How to Train Your Dragon, The Isle of Berk, which is actually going to be part of Universal Epic Universe when it opens in 2025. And with that, the final thing that I want to bring your attention to is a video game, Minecraft. More specifically, a Kung Fu Panda skin of Minecraft. Now, it's actually not the first time DreamWorks has worked with Minecraft, as they've also created a How to Train Your Dragon skin, but I do believe that this one is better because you actually get to relive the events of the movies. You get to battle Tai Lung, Shen, Kai, and even the Chameleon. And unlike everything else that's on this list, you don't actually have to wait. You can literally go and purchase this thing right now, if you already have Minecraft, that is. And with that, we have officially finished our upcoming DreamWorks Projects May 2024 update. So to recap, we actually have the Kung Fu Panda Minecraft DLC skin, which is actually available right now. But the first thing that DreamWorks is going to release is Jurassic World Chaos Theory, which will have its first season be released with a total of 10 episodes on Netflix on May 24th, 2024. This will be followed by the opening of the new theme park, DreamWorks Land, at Universal Studios Orlando on June 14th, 2024. This will be followed by the Peacock release of Kung Fu Panda 4 on July 5th, 2024, which will be followed by the Netflix release of Trolls Band Together on July 15th, 2024. This is actually going to be followed by The Wild Robot, which will be DreamWorks' next movie, which will be released on September 20th, 2024. This will be followed by Dogman, which will be DreamWorks' first outsourced movie with the release date of January 31st, 2025. Which will then be followed by the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake with the release date of June 13th, 2025, which will then be followed by The Bad Guys 2 with the release date of August 1st, 2025, and the last movie that we know DreamWorks is making is Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, which will have a release date of September 26th, 2025. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure that you subscribe so you can keep up to date on all things DreamWorks. Make sure to comment down below what you guys are most excited for DreamWorks to put out. And with that in mind, I hope you are all staying safe out there, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we were gonna do that, but we had some budget cuts.